Greetings from Cybertron. This is SoundJack here with Alyssa.
Yo, 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 what's up?
No.
I mean, I think I'm tired enough where that just kind of came out.
Fine.
I apologize in advance.
It's all good. But anyway, we're here on another episode of SoundJack Rambles to talk about Voltron Seasons 5 and 6.
Oh my goodness, we put off this discussion for way too long. We put it off so much. The season 6. Oh my god. Hold on.
Hold the phone. Ha ha.
Okay, we're fine. As I was saying, we've been holding off this conversation for a really long time. Our original plan, as always, was to talk about the new season, 2 months after it came out, but we ended up having to push Voltron back and back. We pushed it back so far that season 7's already out by the time we post this.
Okay, to be fair, Season 6 ended up getting pushed back to the point. Season 5 got pushed back to the point where Season 6 came out, and we were like, they're both short seasons, let's just do them together. And this is actually when we intended it, because I think it's been 2 months, and then now Season 7 is just there, and it's 13 episodes. So, I mean, we can, after 2 months, I'm pretty sure we'll be fine, and there won't be a Season 8 waiting for us.
Yeah, I hope not. But anyway, sorry. So, in case it wasn't obvious, we're not going to be talking about Season 7 at all.
We haven't even seen it yet.
Yes, no, we have not seen Season 7. So
you don't have to worry about Season 7 spoilers. We're only concerning ourselves with Season 5 and 6 spoilers. So if you haven't watched Voltron, you should probably do that, as I always say in these videos, even though really I'm going to hope everyone here has actually watched it.
Yeah, I would hope so too. Sorry, my phone. Okay.
How dare.
Phones are interrupting me this whole time. It's great. Okay, so let's get started then, right?
Let's get down to business to defeat. What's the species called again?
The Galra.
To defeat the Galra.
How'd you forget it's the Galra? We just saw this very recently.
I know, but you're tired and I'm tired and...
Okay. Well, anyway, I guess we'll ask you. So why don't you start the conversation, Michael? What's itching at your brain the most when it comes to season 5 and 6?
Those last 4 episodes.
Of season 6?
Of season
or
6.
Season 5?
Season 6.
Season 6. Okay, yeah. A lot of stuff happened in season 6. A lot of things were tied up. A lot of things were answered. A lot of questions. All this stuff. So yeah, I can see why you really want to talk about that.
Yeah.
So do you want to just launch into that discussion now, or do you want to wait until...
I mean, that's the biggest thing, but I feel like we should talk about some of the stuff before that part first.
Yeah, probably. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. I mean, you said what's itching my brain most, and that is my legitimate answer.
I'm not... Hey, look, I'm here for that. Yeah. That's fine.
Yeah.
I totally get it.
But anyway, well, how's about we just start off with the beginning of season 5?
Sure.
How we had developments of A, Lotor being captured, B, Lotor actually helping them attack major Galra strongpoints, and C, revealing a major bit of info about where Pidge and Matt's father has been.
Yay! Matt's father, or Pidge's father, both their fathers, Mr. Holt.
Yes.
Yeah. It's really funny. Up until this point, I didn't actually think that their father was really that important. I guess because Pidge was so focused on finding her brother that it was like her father was kind of like a secondary goal. But now he's around and he's gonna do some he's a thing, and it's cool that we found it. Yeah, and then now we have Lotor captured. I don't really know. I guess because it's been so long, because also just for the audience's benefit, we watched season 5, I guess kind of when it came out, right? Like around March.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we watched it way back in March. And then we just now recently, with like this weekend actually, since we recorded of this recording, we saw season 6. So season 5 is a bit hazy in my memory. But yeah, it was cool to see that Matt's father was there. I don't really know. We don't really know what. He didn't really leave much of an impact on me though. But I guess because we only saw him for like an episode or two, so for most of that time he was a prisoner. So
yeah.
What do you want to say about that aspect, that part?
I mean, I'm just very interested that we found him. I mean, that's pretty much my biggest thing. The biggest thing I can remember. Because admittedly, I am a little hazy on season 5 since it has been so long.
Yeah.
Like, looking at the wiki, I remember the stuff, the main points of that they find their father, Commander Sam Holt. They try to rescue him. He's already been taken away. And then Zarkon contacts them and be like, hey, how's about you give me my son for your father?
Yes.
And there's a whole huge amount of discussion, especially the fact that Zarkon's probably going to double cross them. And Fish is like, are you kidding? It's my father, and that's Lotor. Of course we should do this. And then they go do the exchange. Yeah. And oh boy, were they completely right in the double crossing. But it ended up in their favor because, well, to an extent, certainly, because they were able to rescue Commander Holt, and they were able to kill Zarkon. Like, dead. Yep. Like, straight up.
He is straight up dead.
And it was Lotor's doing.
Yes, Lotor did it.
Yes.
Which I mean, in hindsight, maybe not the best idea.
No, in hindsight, not as hard of a decision as we thought it was.
No, what I mean by not the best decision is just that when you kill off the leader of like an empire like the Galra, you're gonna create a power vacuum that will get filled by potentially something worse. Just saying.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that happens. And also this is at the moment when Hagar like suddenly realizes, wait a minute, I might have existed as a person for a long time ago.
Yeah.
It wasn't just an empty husk.
Yeah.
So that's good. Hagar's is like coming out of her, I don't know.
She's coming out of her cage and she's doing just fine.
I'm not sure what you would call it. I guess quintessence addiction.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Lotor has patricide on his hands, I guess.
Not the worst of his crimes.
No. Definitely not.
As we found out in the 4-parter at the end there.
Yep. Yeah. But definitely a big thing. And then, the rest of the season seems to focus more on the power struggle, which makes sense. Leader's gone, so now everybody's vying to take the throne. And basically, I think the last part of the season deals with, Team Voltron trying to get Lotor on the throne.
Yes.
In order to establish some kind of stability, which is good that they recognize that filling that hole is really important.
Yeah.
Because power vacuums suck. And over this, so that's basically what happens in the season. I don't really recall too many like standout moments.
How about running into Keith's mother?
Oh yeah, that's also a standout moment. We find out about Keith. We find Keith's mom.
Yep. Let's just talk about that whole. Let's just talk about the whole mother storyline, shall we?
Sure.
Since like there's a mission to like rescue a spy in season 5 at the end of the episode, we find out it's Keith's mother, but then we have to wait till season 7 to the second episode. Season 6. The second episode of season 6 to get any continuation on that.
Yeah. I will say, I think that Keith's mother is like the least Galra-looking Galran female that we've seen.
Even though the other Galra females we've seen are actually only half Galra.
No, that's not true. We did see some Galra, like in the episode with the.
Okay, any that matter.
Yeah, like major characters maybe, but like there were some in the episode where like that whole fight to the death to determine who's the leader of the Galra. There were a couple of female generals who were vying for the throne.
Yeah.
So they do exist, and we did see them.
Yes. This is important because I do remember questioning if there were actual females in Galra.
Yes, we did see them. They did exist.
Yeah.
They do exist. But we did not see. But they looked very much like Galra, as to how they've looked in the past. So. Keith's mother looks very odd amongst all of them, and it's pretty obvious that it's because she's supposed to be a major character and supposed to look like Keith. Yeah. So,
yep.
She's more human looking, is my point, than like Galra.
Other Galra.
Which I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, so there's that, and it's a pretty. We don't really spend too much time with her. Like, you spend more time with her in season 6. Season 5, she just kind of appears, and we're like, oh, it's Keith's mom.
Yeah.
And then we move on to other things. And the big thing is going to Orion, which is like the mystical magic place where that has the secrets of quintessence
Altean alchemy, which is very different. From quintessence because it's the other mystical MacGuffin.
There's too many mystical MacGuffins in this series.
We got 5 giant lions that combine into one robot. We weren't here for this level of depth.
So basically they go there, and basically it kind of serves as more or less of a it builds Lotor and Laura's budding relationship, because it's really the first time they've spent alone together.
Yeah.
And they sort of bond over their like
shared history.
Their shared history as Alteans.
Mm-hmm.
And
which is very interesting, and I'm sure rewatching some of those episodes after seeing what he says at the end of season 6.
Yeah, and it's also really interesting to me because, I mean, you really do start to realize how much Lotor just hates his parents, like just really does not like them, which is why he kills Zarkon. But
yeah,
he doesn't really like Hagar either.
I mean, it's not like he hasn't tried to kill her.
No, he has, but like at the same time, like,
he just hasn't succeeded with that one yet.
He just hates his parents, which honestly I really can't blame him for.
No, not considering the circumstances, I can't.
Like I'll talk more about my feelings about Lotor later.
Yeah.
But suffice to say, I get his hatred. But
yeah.
Anyway, that's where the series ends. That's where not series.
But
the
then,
season ends.
Hagar has been spying through Shiro a lot that season.
That's true.
Because of Operation Curon.
Yep.
And
which makes things a little bit more tense, obviously, because
she goes to the birthplace of Altean alchemy, and Hagar no more.
Nope, she's now actually lucid.
She is the Altean woman that Hagar not Hagar, Zarkon loved and had a child with before they both went mad with the quintessence power.
Yep. She's finally getting rid of her drug addiction. She's making her recovery. She's been going to those AA meetings.
I still definitely don't trust her motives, though.
I mean, yeah, who knows? But I don't either. I'm making those jokes, you know.
Yeah.
Gotta stay fresh with that humor.
Yes.
Yep, and then we also know that Sendak is now back again.
With the most edgelord name for a retaliatory group, the Fires of Purification.
Oh my god, when they said that, I was like, are you kidding me? Of course he would name his thing that. The Fires of Purification.
Sorry. It's singular. The Fire of Purification.
Oh, okay. God.
There's only one fire.
Excuse me.
I guess.
Yeah, no, Sendak really was being a little extra there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we also so then we also have, so for me, this is where the season, so like season 5 was good.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like really captivating for me.
Mm-hmm.
At least there aren't too many standout moments. At least in comparison to season 6. Season 6 was just like all the things just happening.
Yes.
Just at once. I mean, we finally spend more time with Keith's mother. We finally fill in some of the gaps about Keith's past.
Well, don't we like fill in all of the gaps?
Pretty much all the gaps, yeah.
Like how exactly he got into the school.
Yes.
What?
I said yes.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you said Keith's, which is why I was confused. Okay.
Nope, I said yes.
Yeah, the school, how his mother and father met.
Yep.
Why she went back to space, and the fact his father had died.
Yeah. Yep. And I think it's really interesting. She seems like a really cool character, and I'm really glad that like they don't have Keith be like, they don't really like on one hand, I totally would have understood if Keith had a moment where he was like, I don't like you, Mom, because you abandoned me. But I do like how they kind of let her just kind of be cool.
Yeah.
Like, that's fine.
Like, Keith knew about the importance of the mission.
Yeah.
And didn't have a chance to do that because then we also have a 2-year time skip because they're going through...
Oh, yeah, that just happens.
Yeah. And then they come back basically in the present day because time-space screwery.
Well, yeah. But, so I still actually don't... I guess because, like, okay... From a narrative perspective, I'm not entirely sure why the time skip happens. Like, I get it's because time is weird in the area where they're going, but at the same time, they could have made a scenario where time wasn't screwy. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, they didn't necessarily have to have Keith age. They could have created a plot where, like, if it was if the mission to like find out what was going on, or what this weird quintessence thing was, there could have been something really, they could have like fought through a bunch of guards or something, you know what I mean? Like, if it's about creating an obstacle for like Keith's mother and Keith to do, that could also have happened, but they decided to go with this sort of waiting game, which to me was more of a way to facilitate Keith aging. Yeah. And so to me, I'm like, why did they do that? To me, it seems like the reason why is to make Keith like more of mature so he can become the leader of Voltron. But that's the only thing I can come up with. But what?
That ain't happening, 'cause Shiro be back.
I mean, but he might still not be with Voltron. Like, he could still, like, just be supportive on the sidelines. He doesn't necessarily have to reclaim the Black Lion. Right?
I mean, yes, but...
Okay, well, if Keith is... Okay, if you're... Okay. So if you're right, and Shiro does retain his position as the leader of Ultron, why did they have Keith age? What does that serve? What purpose does that serve, narratively speaking? Like, is it just so that he's more mature? is it just so that she's able to have a wolf partner? Like, was that
Maybe
the
to
only
avoid the
reason?
whole rebellious phase against his mother.
I mean, like, he didn't really like. I don't really see that as a compelling reason.
I don't know.
He like I like again. The only thing I can think of is that they really want to have this wolf dude. And the only way they could do that was to like just have this whole thing.
Yes.
Like they just want to give Keith a wolf butt, and this was their way.
Yes.
Which, if that's the reason, I'm gonna be a little salty about that. Like, why is he aging? If the only reason is just to give him a wolf dude, you could have made up any other reason for that to happen. I'm just a little confused as to why because it doesn't really matter. I mean, they comment on how he's bigger and how he looks taller, when he comes back. But the fact that it's been 2 years for him doesn't really seem to change him. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't really see any character growth. He doesn't really seem. I mean, maybe he's willing to come back to Voltron after being with the Blade of Marmora for so long.
Yeah.
But I don't know. There wasn't really any moment of, oh wow, this has really changed. Because typically when like a story happens where a character spends a lot of time somewhere, or like there's a lot of aging that's happening, and character, or like in stories that I've read in which time travel, either there's a large separation of time between characters and a lot of aging happens, or it's one of the scenarios where a character like ages faster than another. Typically when the characters reunite, it's like change has happened and it's noticeable. Like, I guess maybe not a lot can change within 2 years, but I mean, he spent 2 years with only his mom on a back of a whale in space.
Yep.
Like, I feel like that would change someone.
Yep.
At least to some degree.
Yeah.
And I feel like that would be something that would be noticeable. But I don't know, it doesn't really impact the story in any way. It just seems like something that just happened.
Hey. Here's an idea.
What?
They made Keith older so it's less awkward when they make Keith and Shiro kiss.
Are you suggesting that ship's gonna happen? Is that your theory?
I don't know.
Okay.
I tried to give a reason to the question you're asking, and I'm like, hey, that's
they literally had Keith say, though, in season 6, you're like a brother to me. Like, I feel, okay, look, even if their age gap is less now, there's still pretty significant age gap. Plus, Shiro has very much been a father figure or brother figure to Keith his whole life. I feel like if they made it, if Voltron decided, if the writers were like, let's have them be a couple, I'd be like, nope. I just have to hard pass on that one, because like their dynamic doesn't really lend itself to like a romance. I don't think. At least it's just me.
Okay.
And if it turns out the only reason why they aged them up was that it wouldn't be awkward for them to be, I would be like, why? Why is this? Why are we doing this right now? I would be really upset. Oh man, that would just be how I would feel.
Yeah.
Because I would just be like, nope.
But speaking of things that technically don't matter to the overall story, monsters and mana.
So, out of all of the filler episodes that have happened so far in Voltron, I feel like this one's probably the better one.
Yes.
The best one that they've done. Like, the one in season 4, that one where they were like, where Karan got like bit
the
by
Voltron
the
show.
The Voltron show, that one was just, like, it was funny, but it was totally not necessary. It was like completely out of nowhere. And while it kind of fit with the story,
yeah,
It really was, like, I felt like it was kind of unnecessary. And I guess having this sort of filler episode was a little, but, like, I felt like this filler episode was a bit more humorous.
Yes.
I felt there were more jokes. I felt like it riffed more on the characters, because when you're playing D&D, you can, like, sort of see the characters and sort of how they work off of each other a little bit more.
Yeah. And how they think of themselves and what they like to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Like freaking Shiro just wanting to always be a paladin.
Yeah.
No matter what.
Yes, that I feel like is really funny. And I just know that Shiro would always play lawful good. Like,
yes,
that would be his character. He would be lawful good. I like seeing Lance is a ninja furry. Oh my god.
Yes.
And yes, he is a ninja furry. I'm not changing my view on that. Karan as the dungeon master made total sense. And yeah, it was a fun way to, like, take a break and have some humor, but it was also a good way to, like, still have the team dynamic in there, which is great.
Yes.
So I like that a lot.
There's one little tiny sort of bit that kind of, like, connects to the later bits of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Because the crystal that's dropped from the monster they defeat makes me think of what happens at the end with the crystal.
Yeah.
A very tiny bit.
Yeah.
But, like, it was strong enough that my mind was like, oh, hey. Because obviously it's Netflix. Like, it's a Netflix thing that you're probably binge watching this stuff, so it's, like, right there.
Yeah. That is cool. The crystal thing could have been a foreshadowing.
Yeah.
It's totally possible.
Yeah. But I think we can talk about those 4 episodes.
Yes.
And let me start off by saying episode 4, I'm pretty sure the first freaking line is "I would have waited an eternity for this," which is one of Megatron's most notable lines from the Transformers '86 animated movie.
Are you suggesting that someone on the Voltron team is a huge Transformers nerd?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm suggesting. and honestly, out of anything that Lotor did since he joined up with our heroes, that was the thing that made me most distrust him.
Oh my god.
That singular bit of dialogue. Like, everything was like a maybe, maybe not. And as soon as he said that line with those exact words, I was like, it's set in stone. He's going to betray them all.
Oh my god.
That's something like only villains would say.
Yeah, that is pretty true. Imagine if that was, like, the point. That would be pretty ridiculous.
I want to go to a convention where the Voltron people are and ask them if that line did directly come from the '86 movie, and I want their answer to be yes. If they say no, I'm gonna call bullcrap.
You're gonna say, like, that's. I mean, I've waited for an eternity for this isn't necessarily a like too unique of a phrase.
Fair,
like,
but
like I can see a writer writing that and not necessarily equating it to Transformers.
I still think it's Transformers.
I mean, that's because that's your whole life.
I am aware.
That's like that's like the big thing. That's your big thing. Of course you would. Like,
fair. But I still stand by my theory.
Oh, okay.
But it's just a theory. A film theory.
This isn't a film. It's a TV show.
Shh. Pat talks about YouTube videos on his film theories.
I know. Shout out to Matt Pat, I guess. Hey, Matt Pat, come on our podcast.
Please.
What if Matt Pat came on our podcast? I would flip.
That would be great. That'd be great.
I think we could do like a Q&A of him just being like, what did it feel like? How does it feel knowing that you worked on one of the worst Transformers animated series of all time?
Oh yes, we'll bring Mad Pat on only to interview him for his parts in the Machinima Transformers Prime Wars trilogy cartoons.
We won't even talk about game theory or film theory or any of his Broadway experience or teaching live or anything. We'll just bring him on to be like, hey, So how was it being Computron? Like, how
Yeah.
much on scale from I was okay to I hate myself? How much did that suck? Okay.
Anyway, I think we have lost the thread. Think we
Sorry.
might be a little off track.
maybe a little bit. Okay. Well, since this was the part that was like really itching at your brain, what's itching out of all these things? What's itching at you the most?
Okay. Um. Uh. Mo. So mostly it's Lotor.
Yep.
Mostly it's just how much of a frick Lotor is.
How much of a frick?
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. Because
Mhm.
Keith comes back with his mom and an Altean, and everyone's
Yep.
like, "What?" And then it's like, "Oh yeah, Lotor. Yeah." When Altea was destroyed, there were many of us off world, and we all just went into hiding. And then Lotor rescued us and found a special colony for us in the middle of the time warp zone. Um, and then he started taking some of us to another colony, but told us we couldn't communicate. And then turned out he was harvesting them for their quintessence.
Yup. He went on
And
the
then,
face on us.
and then, but when that bombshell dropped, Allura and Lotor were in the quintessence field.
Yep.
So, and then they shared their first kiss when they got back.
Yep.
And then as soon as they walked into the main room, then Lotor gets questioned, put at gunpoint, and Allura finds out the truth and has to just friggin' throw him across the room
Yep.
because of how much of a bullcrapper he is.
Yeah.
Even though, but with all that he's saying, but here's the thing that's most nagging at me,
Mhm.
especially with the stuff that happens a bit later on.
Yeah.
Is it more so the voice actor? Not to say that the Lotor's voice actor isn't good, but was not putting the an emotion behind the voice to be like, yes, this is what I'm saying, but this is not what I necessarily believe, without being completely forthright. Or if Lotor actually believes everything he has been saying. Because that's the reason why I was so debate heavy for like throughout 5 and the first half of 6.
Yeah.
Was because while like yeah, that could be stuff that like someone would want to say that's in that kind of a position that's trying to trick their enemies. It felt very honest to me. I don't know if that came across to other people, but that's how it felt to me. And especially in the confrontation for the final fight, a lot of it is feels very, very heartfelt. Especially the part where he says he still is in love with Allura, and wants to save the Alteans. So I'm just conflicted on how to interpret that.
So, for what? So my take on that, and I'm glad you brought this up because I was actually going to kind of bring this up too. Is I personally believe that Lotor, in his brain, believes he is doing the best thing. Like, I think he believes he's doing something for the greater good. Like, he does. I mean, you have to consider his background, right?
Yes.
His parents were abusive, like, just straight up, because they neglected him, and I'm pretty sure any interaction he had. I mean, like, literally his parents were neglectful. He was raised by a nanny who believes that pain makes you think better, which not great.
Yeah.
Also, every single Galra in like the entirety of the Galran Empire thinks he's either soft or like they just don't like him. They hate him. So, and literally probably the only people who have ever genuinely cared about Lotor in any way have been his lackeys.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. And like it's also not too clear if it's just sort of an alliance of convenience or not. So his whole life, Lotor has had not been able to trust anyone. He's been absolutely the butt of everyone's jokes,
Mm-hmm.
and so I think that he legitimately does want to do better. You know.
Yeah.
I just don't think he knows how to. You know, like I think he does believe that I did have to kill all those Alteans, but I'm saving more. Like he's thinking in purely utilitarian like thoughts, you know, like I have to I have to kill hundreds of Alteans for their quintessence, but by doing so I'm saving thousands of them.
Mm-hmm.
So because I'm saving more than I am killing, it's okay. Like he's thinking in pure numbers, and
needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. Yada yada yada.
Yeah, that kind of thing, and he also sort of thinks like, and I also do think he genuinely does care for Allura. I don't think that was him being facetious, because otherwise, why didn't he just shoot her? Like if he literally didn't give a crap about her and wasn't trying to. Like I mean, like, cause he had his ship, right? His ship's super powerful. There was the gate, right? Like there. I mean, he didn't know it was destroyed, but what's stopping him from transforming and just taking them out?
Yeah.
Not much. So his need to negotiate, I think, was based out of his desire not to be like conflicting.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think he wants to destroy the Galran Empire because he hates it so much.
Mm-hmm.
And
which he admits that he'd rather save the Alteans than continue on the Galran legacy.
Yeah. And I also think, I mean, it's important to recognize, too, that Lotor is also Altean himself.
Yes.
So I feel like he probably has some sort of longing for his lost heritage.
Mm-hmm.
You know? I mean, I'm not now personally, now that doesn't mean that, like, so I do think that it's very purposefully, at least from what I was able to gather from it, I think Lotor does genuinely believe he's trying to achieve world peace. Like, I think that is a thing he wants.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he thinks peace, like, I think he's very much ends justify the means person. Like, no matter what he does, it's all worth it as long as it meets that end goal.
Mm-hmm.
And that's also kind of, this whole thing is also kind of why I'm a little upset as to how he went. Like, he just kind of went into madness, you know, during that whole last fight.
Yes.
He's just kind of like, oh, it'll be the greatest thing ever. And I'm just like, oh my God. I just didn't like it because, like, I mean, clearly, look, I'm not trying to say that Lotor, like, was what he's done is good or at all justifiable. Obviously it's not, but I am saying that it is kind of a shame that a child / this person who's clearly had a lot of damage done to him by things that were out of his control, specifically all the abuse he's endured. I feel like it kind of feels a little bad that he doesn't get a chance to redeem himself or, like, you know, surrender peacefully. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, he kind of goes mad, and I feel like that's kind of a shame. And part of me also, in some ways, part of me wishes that they didn't have this whole bit about him almost killing hundreds of Alteans.
Yeah.
Like, I almost wish they hadn't done that. Because now it's kind of even harder to justify a redemption arc for him. And I really want him to have a redemption arc.
He's not
I feel
getting
like
one
that would
though.
be really cool. You know, like you could. There's like I don't know. I think redemption arcs are really interesting. Especially when they're done well. I think they're really great. And I think I would really love to see Lotor have to be redeemed, and like, cause like a lot of things about like consider, cause like with Keith and everything, like Keith's heritage, learning that he's part Galra was like a real big thing because everyone hates Galrans, and like Allura had to spend this whole time being like, you know, your half of you is I hate. Like there was that one scene again when they were alone, and Keith asked her like, "Do you think Galrans are ever good?" And she's like, "No, I hate them all." And
Yeah.
Keith had to sort of be like, "Crap, she hates me. If anyone finds out I'm part Galra, I'm shunned." So you know, and it sort of goes like there's this whole undercurrent idea of the Galra, like, you know, aren't like I feel the series wants the Galra to have this sort of complexity where they're like their culture, like they're not all monsters. A lot of the reason why they're so war hungry is because of this nascent culture that they've been raised in where it's all militant and sort of necessitates that kind of angry thing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, and sort of, and I feel like they want to sort of prove that Galrans can be nice, like genuine people, like they can be people, normal people, but at the same time, they have Lotor, another Galran who's sort of an outcast and also like could be a representative of a new age. They just kind of give him the cold shoulder, and I feel like if if the show wants to have this sort of message of like you are who you choose to be rather than who you're destined to be,
Mm-hmm.
that has being like just making Lotor unredeemable just kind of destroys that. I don't know. I have a lot of complex feelings about this whole how Lotor's been treated. Because I don't know. I don't know if you ever thought of how you thought about that. What you think about all that I just said.
I mean, that certainly makes sense. Especially again with my read that like my take from how the voice actor portrayed Lotor, being very genuine.
Yeah.
Like there's not that like from my hearing of it, there's not even a hint of like betrayal or trickery or anything.
Yeah.
Genuine, honest, true. Um, I completely understand the desire for a redemption arc of that for Lotor, um, because in a way he is like Loki. He's like
Yeah.
done a lot of shit, but like you know what, still family to an extent. It's more species y
Yeah.
for Allura and Lotor.
Yeah.
Even though there have been terrible things done in the past. Um, with the desire to redeem because of the connection. But at this point, Lotor is definitely too far gone, and I would be very surprised because of the state he was left in at the end of season 7, lost in the quintessence field, uh, getting ready to be consumed by the madness. I don't think. I doubt we are. We're. There's no way we're done with Lotor. I just think we're not going to see Lotor in the same form at the very least, same mental form at the very
So
least, if
hard
not
to
an entire body retransformation because of the probably months, if not years, of pure quintessence absorption he's going to experience.
Yeah. Also, like, I want to also point out that I think that that moment when, like, Allura compared Lotor to Zarkon, I personally read that as, like, he was, like, and I mean this as in a literal way, triggered by that moment.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he was just, like, that was just, like, oh my god. Like, he was just It was comparing with such a visceral thing that that's what made him fire,
Yeah.
Which also again points to his past abuse. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I just wanted it to be complex. I just would just hate it if just Voltron becomes just a standard villain with no intrigue. That would just break me.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I'm wondering if there's going to be because I mean, Laura did still want to go for him, so even though she was so mad at him for those last few episodes,
yeah,
that I could still definitely see a thing of like, Lothar, remember who you were.
Yeah.
And if I really want to try to read the future, try to read how the series is going to go, Lothar will come to his senses, realize he's gone too much like his father, and kill himself. That's what I'm just.
You think that's what's going to happen? You think he's going to?
That's going to be my bet. I'm not putting any cash money on it, but that's my bet.
Oh, I mean, that would be such a. I don't know how I'd feel about that kind of ending. But we'll see.
That may not be the end, but like, I suspect something along those lines may or may not happen.
Okay.
Or at the very least, a Lothar just holds himself back while Voltron stabs him through.
Yeah.
Or runs him through. He's probably going to be still in his mech suit or bonded to his mech suit. Which, would you mind telling the audience what your gut response to type into the chat of the video while we were watching the video was to say?
What was it? I forget.
You called it his mechsona. His mechasona.
I forgot about that.
Purely because it has a tail, I presume.
Okay. Should I? Okay, so basically, like, some of the things I say, I don't even understand. Yeah, so basically, like, the mech suit, Lothar, which we all knew was coming.
Yeah.
Like, the ship looked too much like a body for it not to happen. Yeah. But
though I think the part we thought was legs actually turned out to be the arms, which threw me for a loop.
Yeah.
But anyway.
And it does look. What's really interesting about that's like the reason why I say it's his mechsona is just because like it looks so much like Lothar, like it just looks like him.
Okay.
It just feels like Lothar, but but as a mech suit. Like if Lothar were to be transformed into a robot mech, that would be him. Therefore, mechsona. It's like a fursona, but like a mecha suit instead of a furry.
Now, if I may derail the conversation further from talking about the show for a moment.
You're fine. I did that once, so you get your chance.
If that is Lothar's mechsona, is SoundJack my mechsona?
Oh my god. I mean, is it? That's a question for you. Is it your mechsona?
No.
No? Okay.
I mean, if I was able to dress up as that for like a convention at some point, sure.
Okay.
But I don't think that would define it as my mechsona.
Okay.
I guess.
I'm sorry. Oh my god. Oh my gosh. Oh.
I sighed.
Okay.
I blindsided you. That's the word I was looking for. Blindsided you with that question.
Yes, you really did. Oh my gosh, I was not what I was expecting you to say.
And now that will be on the internet for all time.
Yes. Oh my god.
Anyway.
Okay.
Back to.
Oof. Okay, we're good. We're fine. Oh gosh. All right. So, we were talking about.
Lothar.
Yeah. So I think actually though I mean, unless you have anything else to say about Lotor. Oh no, I do have things to say about Lotor.
Okay.
And this is in relation to one of my criticisms, was that there was a love triangle in this. And I hate love triangles. And that was between Lotor, Lance, and Allura.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't as bad as it could have been. They didn't actually fight over her. And I like how Lance obviously is still like here for Allura, even though it's unrequited. Like, that's fine. It's good. I'm glad he's still a bro. But like, I don't know. I don't know why. I think the reason why I don't like love triangles isn't necessarily because they're a bad idea on principle. I think that if they're done right, they could be interesting, but they're so rarely done right. There's so many times where, like, it's just like, I don't know. It's just, I guess it's there to, like, bring romantic tension, but, like, you can do romantic tension a lot of different ways.
Yep.
And I just don't know. They didn't spend a lot of time on it. And to be fair, it's not like this love triangle was there from the beginning, you know? Like,
Yeah.
Lance has always had a crush on Allura, so it's fine. And it seems like his thoughts on Allura, like his admiration for Allura has, like, changed, and I'm glad that they've acknowledged that.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, it's more than just him being just a flirt and just like,
because,
hey,
because he had
girl.
a nasty habit of flirting with a lot of female aliens.
Yeah, but, like, I think now he, like, acknowledges, like what he really like, that Allura is more than, like, he doesn't see her as just this, like, pretty girl, which is good. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I just is there, like, do you have, like, a good example of a good love triangle? Like, when you were watching reading something, you were like, man, this love triangle is real great. Or have they always, or has it always just been, like, a sad thing? Like, I just have never seen it. I don't know. I have no idea.
I have a thought of one, but I can't say anything because it's spoilers for More Than Meets the Eye.
Oh, dang. Okay. Oh, there's a love triangle on More Than Meets the Eye? Great. I'm really looking forward to that.
Okay. It's a lot different than what you think.
Okay.
You need to read that, because also I also want to bring this up when you were talking about Lotor Redemption Arc. If you really want to see that, you really should be reading season 2 of Matumti.
Yeah, I know, I should be. I'm gonna get there, I promise. I just hope. Okay, but
anyway.
Oh gosh, I love triangles. Anyway, the only time I like love triangles is when the two people who are fighting over the one person eventually, like, get together. Like, that, I like that. That's the only kind of love triangle so far that I've actually been like, this is fine. So
just let me clarify. So two people are madly in love with the third person, but at the end of the day, the two people that were madly in love with the third person actually just fall in love with each other, and the third person just stays out of the whole thing.
Yes, that's the only time I've ever been like, approval.
Okay.
So I just remember that was what I was when I was like, yes, I'm here for this. I don't know, because I guess it's just like a reversal of what you expect.
Yeah.
And I like that. I don't know. We'll talk about this later. We'll talk about this another time, maybe. But just, I don't know. Love triangles never really sat well with me. And I guess it was sort of like a non-issue in the series, but it just, I don't know. They always turn me off.
Yeah.
Anyway. So, outside of that, I think the next big thing we want to talk about is Shiro and Operation Kuron, because that was like the big thing that was
finally
wrapped up.
And finally wrapped that up.
Yeah.
There were a lot of clones of Shiro that all got exploded.
Yep.
But one of them did not get exploded, and Allura was able to mind meld with Shiro's dead spirit conscious left within the Black Lion to put him into the clone's body.
And whited his hair.
Yeah, very
white. Looks
like
old man Shiro.
Yeah. I just still, like, they did explain that, yes, Shiro, in fact, died after that first big confrontation, at the end of season 2.
Yep.
I still just want to know what exactly happened that caused him to die.
Just extreme radiation? I have no clue.
Yeah, because he did kind of just disintegrate then.
That's an unfortunate way to go.
Yeah.
But now Shiro's back, baby. Yeah, and this time it's for real.
Yes. Which is a good thing. Because then we don't have this whole Curon thing sitting over our heads. But I wonder if the fact they put his consciousness into the body of the clone, who presumably was still alive to some extent, is not going to cause problems later on.
Yeah, maybe.
Like, I mean, certainly having the actual Shiro
over him, right?
What?
Does Khadgar still have control over him? Would she still have control?
We'll figure out next season.
Because I mean, if it's because he's a clone, then yeah, that could still be a problem.
Yeah. Oh yes, it's gonna be a huge problem.
I don't know about you, but I was getting some real during the fight between Keith and Shiro. I was getting some real big Empire Strikes Back vibes from that fight. I don't know how you felt.
I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, no, I was just thinking about it. So I was just like, I'm just waiting for
to Keith to lose his hand.
Yeah, Keith to lose his hand, and then for Shiro to be like, "I am your father," and then me being like, "How?" And I guess in some ways they did sort of have that happen. Like Keith got a scar on his face.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like a permanent damage. And Keith also told Shiro that he loves him.
Yeah.
Which has never been said before. So it was like a big revelation, I suppose. Mm-hmm. So I guess it sort of happened that way, but...
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and they had to sacrifice their ship to save all the universes.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Okay. I don't know about you, but that came out of nowhere. I just felt like this feels so tacked on.
Slightly. My biggest issue with that kind of stuff is we've already established the multiverse.
Yes.
And oftentimes when there's an established multiverse, there's usually like paths that you can follow and that alternate universes can spread out of.
Yep.
As we've seen established with the Altean surviving the Galra as another alternate universe.
Mm-hmm.
But with our understanding of like potential multiverse stuff, usually the thought is, okay, at the very least every major event, if not every single event that has a choice, has an alternate universe for it. And there's always then, like in this instance, there has to be a universe where they won and a universe where they lost.
Yeah.
And if they lost, trying to protect all of existence from getting ripped apart.
Oh, it causes a paradox then.
Yeah. Unless its damage is not as extensive as they thought, or it's still destroyed an infinite amount of universes, but an infinite amount of universes still exist. Because, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I got it. I got you mean. Yeah. That is kind of weird.
Like, they haven't, like, this series hasn't established that, but whenever you talk about multiversal stuff, that's usually a line of thought that kind of ends up getting connected because quantum mechanics is a thing.
Yeah. Yep. That makes sense. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, either way, I understand.
And I know that's just me being annoyed because of things I'm thinking of outside of it, but
I mean, that's still, I personally kind of thought that was sort of I don't know, it was just such a sudden, it felt like a tacked on conflict. it felt like a way for them to be like, we want to get rid of the Cast of the Lions for reasons. How do we do it? I don't know. Just have the universe explode. You know?
Yeah. Like, no, yeah,
You know what I
it
mean?
makes sense, but like how fast it was spreading and how devastating it was going to be.
Yeah, it just felt like really big whiplash. You
Yeah.
know? It was
Because
really
also, like, it's also suggesting that Lothar just having used his suit would have just ended everything. If in another scenario of the multiversal timeline split, if Voltron lost to Lothar at any point in that fight, all of those wormholes would still be trying to screw all those tears in the fabric of space time would still be trying to screw up with the universe. So there's even more potential universes where the entire everything is gone.
Yep.
So
yeah, that's like the problem. That is a good point.
like
And
if
I
you
do
can keep
think
like
that,
if you
again,
keep that confined to a universe, fine, go ahead, try to destroy the universe. If you're trying to say all of existence itself, which the title clearly suggests by saying defender of all universes of that episode.
Right, yeah.
It's just, ow.
Yeah. Again, I just feel like if they wanted to get rid of the Cast of the Lions and like they were like, we want to get rid of it, you could have had Lothar destroy it.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess then they wouldn't have time to evacuate.
Yeah, which is
But,
they
like,
they
that would
don't
also
want to
prison the
they
snake.
didn't want to kill they didn't want to kill the cow.
Oh, that's fair. They would have killed the cow.
Yeah.
And
all of those like little.
So I guess they didn't want to kill anyone, but they wanted to also have the Cast of Lions gone. But I still feel like that there was a better way to do that. That didn't require the weirdest, most out of nowhere random conflict. You know?
Yeah.
But I don't know. That's just me.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'm not like against the idea of the Cast of the Lions like being destroyed.
Yeah.
I'm just against the idea of them using really lame contrivances to do it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, is there anything else you wanted to talk about? We wanted to talk about?
I think that's pretty much it.
Okay. What are your overall thoughts on both season 5 and season 6? Like, where do you think? Like, how do you feel about them?
Season 5 was alright. Season 6 was amazing.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, like season 5 was good. It's just like all like they were very like individualized episodes, and the creators have stated like this is really. I think it's been stated by the creators. This is like really more like the end of the second season. Like season 1 and 2 being season 1, and then seasons 3 through 6 being season 2.
Yeah. Okay.
So like, what happened in all of that, like taking 3 to 6 together, that all makes sense.
Yeah.
And so yeah, like season 5 being mostly like individualized episodes, again, makes sense.
Yeah.
But this makes more sense. But like this is all a greater whole. It's really more like 3 individual episodes with that third episode just being like a chill episode before getting to all the heavy stuff that is the last 4 episodes. Getting that mood whiplash in, according to TV tropes.
Yeah.
Yep. Getting that mood whiplash in before we were like, oh, well, a lot of terrible things have happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
But still quite enjoyable. Like, I thought when we were going to watch season 7 that we were going to split into 2 nights, but then we got to season 4 and like, keep going. We're not stopping until we're done.
Oh my god. All right. Yeah.
Which, I mean, it's basically a 4-parter episode, so we did its job.
Oh, yeah. Yes, I remember when we were watching SoundJack was like... we were watching on Rabbit, which is like for those of you who don't know, it's like a
rabb.it
streaming service that allows you to watch things together.
Yeah.
Over the web, which is nice. In case you wanted to watch something with a bunch of people who are in disparate locations, you can do it through Rabbit. It's really nice. I totally recommend using it. But anyway, we were watching. We used it to watch. We were using it to watch Voltron, and I oftentimes will ask, Michael, hey, do you want to watch the next episode? And just this time he was just like, next, just the whole time.
Yeah.
So yeah. I agree that season 6 is better than season 5. I think it was nice to tie up all the loose ends, and it definitely had a bit more impact on me than season 5.
Yeah.
I don't know where it fits for me in the overall thing. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, sorry. I don't know if I'd say it's amazing. I hesitate calling things amazing. That's just me. I did like season 6 though. I thought it was a good ride.
Yeah. Very good ride. Very fun.
Yeah. And I think that's it for both of us, right?
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
Yeah. That's our thoughts on Voltron season 5 and 6. I think we can certainly recommend them. We're just having a ball with Voltron, it seems.
Yeah.
But if you haven't watched it, go ahead and watch it. If you have watched it, don't tell us what happens in season 7 because we're going to watch it.
Don't be that guy.
Honestly, it is entirely possible we may finish 7 or watch some of 7 before we get this episode posted because we are recording it pretty well in advance. But still,
yes.
Be kind be kind in comments about spoilers. But before we talk about liking, commenting, subscribing, and all that, Alyssa, where can people find you if they want to find you?
You can find me on Twitter at the Rational Dove.
And
feel free to give me a shout out or something.
Yeah, and you can. Whoops.
Whatever.
Sorry, I thought you were done.
You're all good.
And you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at SoundJack426. Obviously, because you're listening to this on YouTube. But please feel free to like, share, subscribe, and comment on this video. Or, subscribe to the channel and comment on the video. You can also support me on Patreon. There's a link in the description below. Thanks for tuning in. This is SoundJack and Alyssa signing off.